Happy New Year to you all. And I sincerely hope that 2017 is a better year than 2016, which of course had its own challenges. This time of year, many of us, when we head back into business, are looking as to how we can do things that little bit better, a little bit more productively, stay ahead of the curve, and generally perhaps have a better quality of life in doing so as well. And at EVCOM, what we've done is that we've put together an event called EVCOM Bite Size, which takes place next Wednesday, the 11th of January. And at that event, we're going to be discussing exactly that. What are the new trends? What's good to look at in the year going forward? And it will be a very, very valuable afternoon. It's taking place just over 4 hours, and the details can be found on the website. But I thought I'd take this opportunity just to give you some thoughts as to what I see as trends coming up throughout the year. So more content, no surprises there. Content has obviously been king for some years now, but I think that what we're going to see is even more, and that will of course manifest itself in all sorts of ways. But marketeers, our clients are most definitely seeing that content is a very, very important part of bringing eyeballs to their brand and to their message. Some interesting statistics from the Content Marketing Institute here. 70% of B2B marketeers plan to create more content in 2017 compared to what they did last year. And also in 2017, it doesn't necessarily mean more quantity, it's also that quality and impact will rise as well. So certainly there, what we're seeing is that marketeers are of course becoming wise to the amount of content that there is there, and trying to find innovative ways in order to find cut through for their message. A very big part of the content message is video, and certainly our screen members are best tuned to understand that area. But I do heavily reinforce that connecting with social is a really key part of this. If businesses, if member businesses can, be driving a social campaign and social strategy as well, they are in effect writing their own brief as a content strategy moving forward. Now, there's been all sorts of innovation with screen content, particularly with video. Live, for instance, Facebook Live has seen something like a 400% rise in people actually making live Facebook content in the past year, and also kind of really interesting things like Snapchat launching their own pair of glasses, a bit like Google Glass had a few years ago, this is all about driving live content to social media, and something as well that I think that we as filmmakers we should not necessarily shun, but embrace, because the more content that is being driven, the better it is for us to be making, those kind of killer pieces of content that, really drive home a client's message. Both in terms of screen content and live events, I see that both augmented and virtual realities being, very, very big this year. I've worked in and around augmented reality since its inception, really. For around 10 years now. We saw a very definitive point last year with Pokemon Go, in order to be making augmented reality kind of a norm and expected, that people, were picking up their phones and wanting to do that, were wanting to see, an enhanced and augmented experience, on top of a real world view. But at live events as well, live events are obviously on a boom. And one of the things that is really being embraced by live events community is new technology, and virtual and augmented realities are a very, very interesting way of truly grabbing attention, showstoppers that can be created that way. And, the key thing which is talked about afterwards. Also, because it's digital content, it can at times, be measured and be used pre-event, during event, and post-event as well, which I think is a very, very interesting area. We produced a live piece for Salesforce this year at their event in San Francisco, where we animated a character of Einstein to appear on stage alongside their CEO, and this was the key piece that was talked about after that event. And for any of you who are au fait with Salesforce, that's no easy thing to do, because they do live events big. So we're very, very proud of that. I think another trend where we see worlds of screen and live events merging is definitely within the world of live streaming of events. Constantly, the live events community has had issue. Perhaps people haven't been able to attend events. It's been very expensive to get delegates from around the world to attend one event in Europe or wherever that may be. So to take the investment of that event and beam it to the whole company or to whatever audience the client's wanting is key. And obviously there's lots and lots of off-the-shelf solutions around this. Periscope is a very, very interesting piece of technology as a social app where people can be connecting and giving opinion and giving feedback live, asking questions live. This is something where streaming of live events is not that price prohibitive thing which it was in the past. I think another big trend in live events is most definitely the want and desire to capture data. This plays hand in hand with return on investment. Any big scale live event is a big investment for a client. It's not just a big investment of cost, it's a big investment of time, and it's a big investment of brand, and wanting to see some empirical data that is coming back. So one of the ways of doing that, apart from the tried and tested old-fashioned ways, is to really be embracing with new technology, and certainly we're seeing that attempts to gamify, to be adding polls and votes and interaction into events is a much easier way of not just making the event itself more fun and involving, but it's also a great way of measuring the success of that event as well. I mentioned social media before, but its rise is just astonishing. We are definitely at a tipping point now where people care to interact with their phone and social media more so than doing hopefully what we're kind of doing right now, which is making eye contact and connecting with people on a human level. So this is something that of course we need to embrace. There are some astonishing statistics that people are using social media now around 2.25 hours a day, but human interaction is something like half of that time. So people are more in front of their device than they actually are in terms of kind of real connection with people. So to really embrace social media and possibly have that as part of our offering going forward, and that's both with screen companies and live events companies. I see that as being kind of really key. finally, it's on many people's minds as to what on earth's happening with the world. What will the Trump presidency mean? What will Brexit mean? Well, obviously, we're fighting hard within EVCOM in order to bring about a knowledge to government as to what our industry wants and needs going forward in order to be the £5 billion pound industry that it currently is. But there are benefits which are kind of currently happening. We as the live events community, as the screen content community, we are perceived as being the best in the world. And what's happened kind of overnight, if you like, post Brexit, is that the pound's being devalued. So we're not just the best, we're also cheaper. That's something which I think is being seen by a lot of companies around the world, that actually to buy a resource in sterling, to be buying content and expertise in sterling, to be hiring venues and AV capability in sterling is a very, very attractive thing. So with those little tips, I sincerely hope that I will see you next week at Air Conference, and wish you all the very best for the year ahead. Thank you very much.